Welcome to the Wisest Learners Teacher Edition virtual book launch. The live stream will begin shortly. While waiting for the other participants to arrive, why don't we get to know each other? Type in the comment section your answers to the following questions. Where are you watching this stream from? What school are you teaching at? Share one memorable word of wisdom from your favorite teacher. If you could impart one piece of wisdom about fostering lifelong learning in students, what would it be? Thank you for participating in our warm-up questions. We're a few moments away from the start of the launch. Stay tuned. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok accounts, or visit our website at wiselearners.com for more exciting updates.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Kevin, and on behalf of the whole Wisest Learners team, I welcome you all to the virtual book launch of the Wisest Learners Teachers Edition. Following the success of the award-winning first edition titled Wisest Learners Parent Edition, Unlock the Secrets to Your Child's Academic Success. Dr. Wallace and Dr. Artem now unlock the secrets to the student's academic resilience. This new edition builds upon the first, yet carves out its unique space, focusing on empowering you, teachers, to bring wisdom into your classrooms. Wisest Learners Teachers Edition applies the same holistic, proven, and practical strategy present in the Parent Edition. Through a blend of scientific insights and practical experience, this book explores the power of intentional mentoring and includes a wealth of strategies for teachers to set their students up for success in both academics and in life. Please watch this short trailer to get a glimpse into the heart of the book.
Imagine a classroom teeming with wisdom, where students thrive academically and their minds flourish under the guidance of inspired teachers. The architect of this wisdom hub through Wisest Learners Teacher Edition. Written by renowned educators in cognitive neuroscience, Dr. Artyom Zinchenko, and educational psychology, Dr. Wallace Penlilio II, Wisest Learners Teacher Edition follows the success of its award-winning predecessor, Wisest Learners Parent Edition. Wisest Learners Teacher Edition is designed to empower educators, equipping them with the same well-loved, holistic, proven, and practical tools and strategies present in the first book. Explore our holistic approach to teaching, which blends educational psychology with cognitive neuroscience. Discover teaching principles that merge proven strategies with cutting-edge research. Apply the book's practical strategies in real-world classroom settings to enhance your students' critical thinking, creativity, and motivation. This book's blending of storytelling, classroom wisdom, and concrete strategies will empower educators like you to teach a future generation who are not only wisest learners, but also lifelong learners. And this is just the beginning. Our books set the stage for a comprehensive learning ecosystem with assessments, courses, workshops, and more. Unlock the secrets to your students' academic resilience today, and give them what they need to excel academically and in life through Wisest Learners Teacher Edition.
What's good about this book is that this book is written not only by doctors in the field of educational psychology and cognitive neuroscience, but also by educators themselves. Let me introduce you to the minds behind Wisest Learner. Dr. Artem Zinchenko's work in cognitive neuroscience has focused on the interplay between emotions and our cognitive functions and the role of the long-term memory in the guidance of attention. As an author and a researcher, he has contributed thoughtful perspectives in the field of cognitive neuroscience. Dr. Zinchenko is also dedicated to education, keen on sharing the principles of cognitive neuroscience with the younger audience, particularly high school students. Dr. Artem, can you say hi?
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us today for our event, and from different countries, different schools. Glad to see you all. Hi.
Wonderful to see you again. And the other half of this book is Dr. Wallace Penlilio II, who has a PhD in educational psychology with a focus on online learning, best learning practices, and parenting. Has dedicatedly served as a headmaster for 14 years. His enduring legacy and tireless efforts in the field reflect a deep commitment of a lifelong learning, leaving a lasting and positive influence on the educational landscape in the Philippines. Dr. Wallace, can you say hi?
Hello, everyone. Looking forward to this book launch. This is something that Dr. Artyom and I have worked on for so long, and we're so excited to finally bring it to fruition. Looking forward to seeing familiar faces as well.
Doctors, let me be first to congratulate you for the success of your first book. I heard that it has won not one but two awards since it was launched in January of this year. The Parent Edition is a Mom's Choice Awards Gold recipient and the National Parenting Product Award for 2024. Those are two fantastic awards won in just a span of 3 months. Congratulations. Really awesome. I'm really proud of you guys for what you're able to accomplish. Dr. Artem, will you now read a sample chapter from Wisest Learners, the Teacher's Edition? And so now it's your turn to take the virtual stage.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. So I'll read the first chapter, chapter 1 on motivation. So just like a few paragraphs only. In the 1940s, psychologist Carl Dunker set up a simple experiment. He gave people a candle, a box of thumbtacks, and some matches, and asked them to fix the candle to a wall so it would not drip wax on the table. It sounds easy, but the solution needed some creative thinking. You had to figure out that the box could be more than just a container. It could be used as a base for the candle. Dunker was looking into how we solve problems, but years later, Sam Glucksberg used this experiment to see how rewards affect our thinking. He told one group of participants they would get money if they solved the problem quickly, while the other group was not rewarded. Interestingly, the group without the promise of money solved the problem faster. These findings showed that rewards might make us work faster for easy tasks, but they can slow us down when we need to think creatively. This finding is significant for teachers. It shows that motivation from the inside, like curiosity, enjoying the challenge, or wanting to learn for its own sake, helps students learn better than if they are just working for a grade or a prize. This inner motivation helps students to get into their learning, think more creatively, and solve problems better. It's not just good for schools, but for life too. The desire to learn is an innate human trait, integral to survival and evolution. From the earliest days of our existence, humans have been driven to acquire knowledge, skills, and understanding about the world around us. Learning is the process that allows us to adapt to new environments, solve problems, and innovate. It is the foundation upon which progress is built and the key to unlocking our full potential. Whether learning to walk, read, play an instrument, or master a new language, pursuing knowledge and understanding is fundamental to what makes us human. Kevin, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you, Dr. Artem. We appreciate you for sharing that wonderful chapter. Dr. Wallace, I'm going to pull you in for a fireside chat, and we're really excited to get to know more about the book. Audience, while the conversation is going on, feel free to leave any questions or thoughts about Wisest Learners in the chat. Right now, I'm going to ask them a few questions, and we're going to chat through those. But at the end, we will take some questions for you guys. So please leave your questions in the chat, and we will we'll address those after we have our short fireside chat. So let's start with this. I can see that both of you have been busy. I've heard you in several podcasts in the US. I've read your articles and online publication. You guys have been really busy. And for teachers who are here right now, hearing about you for the first time and your book series for the first time, could you share with us the inspiration behind your decision to write Wisest Learners Parent Edition and then write a Teacher's Edition right after?
Maybe I'll answer this one. So the two books were written in parallel. So the idea was that we take the principles that we identified in scientific literature as being important for education for kids, and we share with parents and we share with teachers these core principles, speaking the language of parents and speaking the language of teachers, so to say. When speaking about the teachers and like picking the book format for that, I would like to speak about the TALIS Teaching and Learning International Survey. It's a big survey, large. It includes responses of teachers of 200 60,000 teachers, like a really large number of participants coming from 15,000 schools all around the globe. And when the survey was conducted, it turned out that 1/4, 25% of teachers did not participate in any form of additional education, additional professional development. And those who did participate, over 50% of those spent only less than 1 day per month on these, additional professional development. And a big portion of respondents responded that whatever they've learned was not enough for their day-to-day work, and they did not feel that they have enough knowledge to perform as teachers. So our motivation was to then maybe go with the format of the book, because that's a format that teachers can read in their spare time, at their own pace. There is no pressure. They don't have to take the time off work to participate in such professional development conferences or seminars or workshops. And the time off work, that is what makes it complicated. So we thought that the book would be the optimal format for teachers. So we share the principles, the Wisest Learners principles that we've identified now for teachers.
If I may add also, as part of that inspiration, as a former school headmaster for over a decade, I've seen a lot of challenges that schools, particularly teachers, have experienced when it comes to teaching. And uh, based on those hurdles and challenges, I've always felt that there's a need to find a way to help teachers uh, in consideration of the limited amount of time and energy that are actually available for teachers, and that has significantly inspired us to write the.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, can you explain how will this book enhance the teacher's instructional practice?
Okay, I can answer that. As a as an educator, I've seen many cases where teachers can get frustrated when they put in so much time, so much energy, countless hours in preparing lessons and teaching their students, and after putting in so much time, and after some time, especially after summer vacation, they would find that it's as if that the students didn't learn anything at all. That can be one of the most frustrating experience an educator can have. It's like it can make you question, like, is my did I do anything? What went wrong? How can I change how I did in the first place? So many questions that can be quite discouraging, if not frustrating. And the book, because of its approach towards learning, would cover various facets that would make that will help and equip teachers. So, for example, we incorporated very practical learning strategies that will help teachers overcome what others might call as a summer slide. Like during after summer vacation, students don't wouldn't remember what they've learned the prior school year. And we're very excited that we covered that and shared a lot of strategies that will address that. For example, we discussed a strategy called periodic review, where uh, uh, you as a teacher, as an educator, would go back to how to what you have taught strategically, in a manner and in a timely manner that would not only just review but also help the students recall in an efficient and effective way. So there's a science and there's an art and science to this that we discussed thoroughly in the book. I'm actually very happy that when I met one of my former teachers in Dubai, so hosted a dinner, and this was something that I've trained her to do when she was still under my mentorship. And she shared that in her new school now, she's been applying this method, and it has worked out really, really well. And she was very excited to share with me and said, she called me Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace, like, I'm so excited to tell you that what you taught me about space learning, it's working wonders, and we're our school, we're applying it all the way. So it's one of those things that we have discussed as a mentor and mentee, but we explained the science, the research behind it in the book.
Maybe I could also add a few sentences. Thank you so much, Ross. That's really good points. But apart from learning strategies, something that makes your memory formation better and something that makes your core learning better, we also believe that there are some principles that are behind these learning principles. Principles like motivation or task value, self-efficacy, without which even the knowledge of these learning principles would not be helpful, would not be as helpful. And for instance, goal settings. In the paper, we discuss a work by Schippers and colleagues from Rotterdam and Netherlands. So these researchers, what they did, they had a large group of first-year college students, almost 3,000 students, and there were multiple groups. So they split them in multiple groups. And so some of these groups had to write at the beginning of the school year, they had to write a short note about their plans. So what are they planning to achieve in these academic years? And they were kind of invited or encouraged to write as detailed plans or as detailed explanations of what they would like to achieve as possible. And the other group gathered together as well. So they had to do some activity, but was not related to setting goals. And it turned out that the group that was randomly picked sample of participants who wrote about their plans, about their goals, performed 22% better academically relative to those who did not, right? So, and in this specific experiment, this example, it's not about periodic review per se, or it's not about spaced repetition or any other specific learning strategy, which are all important. But that's a different layer of complexity, so to say, a different approach to it, just setting goals. How important is it to be motivated, to know what you're doing, to build expectations? And so book is about these practices as well. Kevin, I'm really sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, so thank you, gentlemen. One of my favorite parts about a Wisest learner, and it's one aspect that truly sets it apart, is that it has a research-based foundation. Can you share with me a piece of the extensive research and the expertise that underpin the content? Perhaps it's a snippet of data or a compelling finding that might intrigue our readers here.
Right. So thank you so much. Indeed, it is the case that the book is basically research-based. So every chapter is based on a number of research studies that Wallace and I went through, identified in the literature. We had some specific criteria on how to select these research articles. We were looking for trusted sources, for most recent ones, and preferably sources that accumulate large samples of participants, or the ones that accumulate many different researchers that were published in the past. So doing meta-analysis, so to say. So analysis of published data, so that you can accumulate a lot of information in one work. And in fact, a big portion of the book is dedicated to just short descriptions of research articles that we used, so that an interested reader could, read a bit an abstract in the book itself, or could, find the article online if possible and read it. And I mean, there are lots of research we could speak about, right? The whole book is written about this. One I like a lot, and I often provide as an example, is research by Planta and colleagues. It was published 2 years ago, quite a recent study from the University of Quebec in Montreal. And so what these researchers did, they surveyed over 1,500 students as they transitioned from the elementary school to middle school. And what they did, they looked at their math performance and language performance skills, and they looked at their test anxiety. And when conducting the regression analysis, so they were trying to, that was done multiple times. It was, as I said, right, once at the end of the elementary school and once at the end of the first year of middle school. And what was found is that there was a relationship between how well students performed in math and English, and this in their test anxiety in the end of the middle school, first year of the middle school. Just showing that, okay, I mean, the better you know, the better you are in math, the lower is your test anxiety. So knowledge is associated with test anxiety, which is quite, expected. What was quite interesting, what they found, is that there was not a linear relationship, but was sort of a inverted U-shaped relationship. The students who had the highest levels of anxiety were the upper 20% of those who performed in math. So students who are really a good, well-performing students, and the lower 20%. So students who underperform, who have experienced some challenges in math and language learning, right? So it just shows that test anxiety is not necessarily about poor performance, right? It has many other aspects, like when good performing students have to maintain their status, they have to they experience this pressure from the parents, from the teachers, from their fellow students, that it is expected that they perform well. So they also experience quite a lot of stress, which eventually can hit back, and they may experience difficulties later on during their studies. So maybe one piece of research.
In addition, our expertise have really complemented each other very well. Dr. Artem's background is in cognitive neuroscience, and mine is in educational psychology. And with my experience in educational administration leadership, that whenever we see a research study, we would have like interesting takes. So, for example, when it comes to research, famous research called Ebbinghaus research called the forgetting curve, which helped in the design development of the space turning or the periodic retrieval strategy. That I would look at it and see from the perspective of teachers teaching in a classroom setting, in a school setting, based on how that can be taught and how that can be implemented by educators, based on an educational leadership standpoint. Of course, from Dr. Artyom's and he would have his cognitive neuroscience perspective as well, and by putting it together, his cognitive neuroscience standpoint and inside information understanding of the forgetting curve and how that can correlate to the brain, and how we on our end would be able to apply that in a classroom setting, then that that allows us to integrate insights that will help educators apply these research studies in a way that that will empower them. because what we don't want to do is to just prescribe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to give principles and foundational strategies that will empower educators to make this understanding their very own.
Now let's talk about practical. Sorry, excuse me. Now, what I appreciate about this book is it's very clear that Wisest Learners isn't only about theory. It's about some real actionable strategies. Authors, could you share some real world examples or perhaps draw from your own or your college colleagues' past experience in applying these strategies successfully?
So maybe I could share my experience. So something that I started implementing in my teaching practice, something that we learned over the last several years while working with Wallace, with Dr. Wallace. So basically, one interesting finding that we saw in the literature is on taking notes. Right, taking notes, it's super important because notes is something that you keep on a piece of paper, like black and white, with you after the lecture is over, and something that you can go over again and again, preparing for an exam or trying to see if you've understood information correctly. So you need to take notes. However, the problem is that oftentimes students, when taking notes, try to verbatim just write down whatever instructor is saying. Thus, the whole process of the lecture becomes note taking, just trying to as quick as possible, write the notes down, so that one's attention is now directed towards note taking, is directed towards listening, and trying to remember the words so that you can put them on paper. And the idea would be that you would then go through this text again later on and you would understand it better. However, the problem is that when something like this happens, it means that students who is writing down, who's taking notes, is not trying to use elaboration technique, is not trying to link the new information to what they already know. They're not trying to self-question if they understand the material. They're not trying to come up with the questions that they may ask to clarify things. So all these really important stages of learning are basically skipped. They're taken over by note taking, right? And then so what a suggestion, a better approach is that students need to get some sort of handouts. They need to get slides. If you're teaching at university level, most of the time these would be slides that you're presenting to participants. And so what I'm doing now with my students, I'm sharing my slides in advance. So I'm uploading my slides to a web portal where students can download them, and then they have everything already on the piece of paper. So if necessary, they can just take short notes or ask questions on the sides, and then still listen to the lecture. However, if we speak about younger kids, something that our Japanese colleagues described in their research, it seems that works best is if the teachers provide, even like if they take one step further and they provide short summaries or short notes for the students, right? So it's not the student that takes the notes, but the teacher who knows what is the core, what is the most important information in that they're delivering. So that would take some bullet points and write down these notes for students. And two things. First of all, it kind of removes the cognitive load during class. So students can pay attention to the lecture and, as discussed, right, use all these important steps to learn. And second of all, then they can go back to these notes in preparation for the exams, or trying to repeat whatever they've learned later on, and that leads to the best outcomes. So that's something I've personally introduced in my teaching routine in the last years.
Wonderful. Wallace, will you be sharing anything?
Yeah. So based on what Dr. Artem had shared, I would just want to briefly connect it with like Having those strategies are important, knowing when to use them. But at the same time, on the part of like if you were an educator, you will also need to be able to tackle it from the other standpoints. That's pretty much what Dr. Arthur had shared a while ago, where we look at learning in a very holistic manner. Because if even if they do have all these notes, right, it's very important that they will actually get allocate the time to go through them, and that's been discussed in our book when it comes to effort management, regulation, when it comes to grit, having that perseverance, among other things, where the students themselves, even if they're like uh, they have all these resources, excellent resources, but if they don't take those first steps, if they don't believe that they can make a difference, that what they're doing is important, that what they're studying is important, is relevant, then that will affect how they are going to make the most of the steps. So that's something that I've experienced as a teacher, where when I was teaching certain subjects, and I wasn't as successful in explaining to my students then like how important a certain task or a certain topic would be, then I could see the difference in how the students will respond to what I'm teaching. So all this come together, the strategies, the beliefs, the mindsets, in order to make for effective teaching and learning.
Thank you. Audience, I want to give you a quick reminder. Now is a great time. If you have any questions or comments, put it in the chat. We have one more question, and then we will answer some of those. I got your two books here. We got the parent edition, and we have the teacher's edition. The parents edition was fantastic, 2 national awards. So my question is what's next for Wisest Learners? Do you have any editions in the works? I'm excited to hear about these.
So yes, we do have other editions. We will have like a learners edition. We will have courses as well. We will have assessments for schools. We will have children's books. We will have uh, different, even for leaders to develop leadership. So a lot of the principles, a lot of concepts here will be can be taught based on different contexts. And that's something that we're very excited about because we recognize that a lot of these topics here will take a lifetime to master, and it's really about slowly but surely learning these and being able to apply them one step at a time. One of the books that I'm very excited about is the one that you, Coach Kevin, and Coach Alex Hampton are working on, which is like for parents who have children that they are in athletics. So that's the one, Parents of Athletics, Athletes Edition, guiding your child's athletic journey. So very excited about that. Something that we will be publishing as well, right? Will be released within the year.
Wow, thank you, and I too am excited about that one. It's been a fun journey writing that with Alex. Coach Alex is a good friend of ours, and so look forward to that. Authors, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for writing this ultimate guidebook for teachers. I'm sure it'll be a success, as successful as the first book. Audience, you've heard from the other 2 authors. Now it's time for your questions. So don't be shy. Type them into that YouTube chat. And we've already got some questions that have been sent through the private messaging. And so we are going to get to those questions. We have that first question here is, what do you believe sets your approach apart from other teaching methodologies?
Yeah, maybe I could try answering. So the book in the book, right? So we offer a set of principles, a set of core, from our point of view, from what we've learned from our experience and research, a set of core principles that that are important for being a good teacher and being an influential teacher and educator. And so we put a lot of emphasis on these core principles, and that means that we also offer a few practical implementations, right? A few practical steps every teacher can take to implement every of the principles. But we do not really go into like exact detail on the teaching methodology, right? So it's not that how do you spend the first 15 minutes in the class? Like we give a bit of a larger picture, a more what we call a holistic approach, so that teachers have a a bird view, so bird's eye view on things, like seeing it as a whole, basically. So I think that's a big difference from potentially other methodologies that are super important as well, but they are more technical and more local, I would say, more applied to a specific part of education. We look at it in a bit more a global view.
Wallace?
Yeah, so our approach is different in many ways. A big part of it is like we connect, we make connections amongst the different concepts and strategies. That's something that's important. We don't really look at them in silos, where sometimes it's kind of like the concern on our end is that uh, educators or parents or learners would view learning as having certain magic pills. You take one and that will solve everything. So we want to make sure that even if that's not the intent of others, that we don't get into the kind of mindset or thinking that there's really just one solution. Learning is very complex, teaching is very complex, and very important. It's very important that we provide that kind of pragmatic approach so that we be able to arrive at more effective solutions.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your insight there. Our next question, let's see, that pops up. Authors, what does holistic mean in the context of learning?
Okay, I can answer that. So, just to help you remember, there's three C's to that. The first one is connection. So all these like principal strategies are like all interconnected. So the more that we can see the connections and be able to apply through these connections, the better that we'd be able to get at arriving to the cause of problems in terms of instituting or implementing problem solving approaches, uh, or even like finding opportunities as well. The second one is collaboration. We recognize that in order for teaching and learning to happen, we need a village. It takes a village to raise a child. So we need to get the different stakeholders involved. That's the reason why we have the parent edition, the teacher edition, and soon the learner edition, so that we'd be able to address the different situations when it comes to learning and teaching from the standpoints of different stakeholders. And the third one is context. We recognize again that every learner's context is different. How your child, how your student is learning, context at home, what's going on in their geography, in their lives, what's happening in their country, culture. There are like so many different contexts there, right? And in order for us to address that, it requires a holistic understanding of those contextual cues. So these are the three C's that I would suggest for our viewers to remember. Okay, the first one will be connection. The second one will be collaboration. The third one would be the context.
And thank you so much, Wallace. I would, if I may, also say a few words here. So from the sort of research point of view, from the empirical findings point of view, what we found in the literature is that if we take a single principle at a time, be it a metacognition, be it learning principle, be it goal setting, whatever it is, on a larger scale, like we take hundreds of participants or thousands of participants, every individual strategy or every individual principle would explain only a portion of the variance in grades, in the success in education, in enjoying learning. So what quickly becomes obvious that there is no one single strategy, or there is no one single principle, or there is nothing that a teacher can just take one magic pill and apply it, and that's it. Everything will be taken care of. One needs to use a holistic approach. One needs to take into account all these principles that combined would lead to a better education results, would lead to better GPA, would lead to happier kids going to school. So that's what we mean by holistic approach, is that research driven, in my understanding, is that it takes all these principles to lead to a success in education. It's not a single one. So that's the holistic part.
Thank you again, gentlemen. The next question, please. Are there any particular challenges you faced while writing this book, and how did you overcome them?
For me, at least, particularly, the challenging part was the scientific part. There are a lot of articles on the topics written by scientists for scientists, right? So oftentimes when you read this sort of literature, it would not provide you with practical steps. It would not tell you how to implement whatever was found. How does it relate to real life classroom settings? So it was really necessary to have the practical experience. That's Dr. Wallace's experience was really handy to link it to real life situations. The second thing is, when reading these articles, it's that oftentimes they would contradict each other. You would have one research point that there is a positive effect, and then there is a different study that says, well, we didn't find any positive effects, right? So then us now as authors, we need to make a decision. So what do we tell the readers? Should they implement this strategy or not? Is there evidence in the literature that using this strategy with your kids as a parent or as a teacher would have a positive effect, right? So basically what it meant for us is that we had to keep reading, keep synthesizing different researchers, looking into methodologies, looking at sample size, looking into questionnaires that research used, and trying to make sense of what does it mean in the end. So so for me, it was really exciting. I love it. That's what I do, working with literature. But it's also a challenging one because it's a lot of responsibility. We collect this information, then we, transfer it further to readers. And this responsibility was both exciting, interesting, and in a way challenging as well.
Wonderful. Let's see the next question. Let's pull that one up there. Hi, Dr. Wallace and Dr. Artem. How do you define a wisest learner? Dr. Wallace, can you start with that one?
There are many ways to define a wisest learner, but my favorite is like a wise learner is able to optimize one's learning. And when I say optimize, it's like because this came from my economics background, where recognizing that all of us have limited resources, and we only have so much time and energy, right? And a wisest learner is able to make the most effective use of the resources that are available. And because of that, in a limited amount of time, with whatever energy you might have, right? Whether you're a parent and you're trying to finish you're working on your PhD, for example, you're a student preparing for a high stakes exam, or you're a teacher preparing a lesson plan. You will only have so much time, and you want to make the most out of it. So Wise Learner has this in mind that we want to help you optimize whatever you have.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we'll get we are going to take a pause on those questions. Thank you guys for your insightful answers on those. I want to thank the author thank you, authors. You guys are fantastic. Giving a depth of knowledge. It obviously shows what you guys know what you're talking about. I am so grateful for this time we spent together. If there's any still unanswered questions, we'll make sure that we can get to those by the very end. But before we get there, our authors would love to answer. Our authors would love to give away some books. And so we're going to have a giveaway right now. And I think we're going to pull up a screen here, and we're going to get a drum roll, and we're going to auction off some books. So let's see the first one. So we're going to push that button. Can I get a drum roll? If you're at home, give yourself a little drum roll going. Let's see here. So the first three names, you're going to get a paperback. And so we're excited of the paperback of the brand new book. And that first one goes to Precious and Almonte. Congratulations. Congratulations. So let's go to the next person. So you're going to get the soft copy of the book. The next one. Here we go. We get a drum roll again. Drum roll, drum roll. You have to give it yourself at home. And it's like, oh, May Amethyst Tarabe. If I'm saying that correctly, congratulations to you as well. And again, you're getting a paperback copy. And we have one more that gets this paperback copy sent to them. Here we go. Jamie, congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so now we're going to give away three more. But these ones are a little bit special. We're just going to call them the grand prize winners. These next three. So the next three receive a signed paperback, an exclusive one-on-one session with our authors. And so we're going to do that. So again, get the paperback, you get them signed by them, and then it's also going to have a one-on-one session with our authors. So go ahead and push that button. Let's get that drum roll again. Rodell, congratulations, Rodell. We will reach out to you to make sure that you can get that one-on-one session, but we have two more that get the signed special paperback edition, and then once again, one-on-one session. Go ahead and push that button there. The next one is, oh, so close, but James, you pulled it out. Again, you get your signed paperback along with a one-on-one session. And the third time's a charm. Are you the lucky one? Let's see who it is. Oh, you got squeaked out last time, Joy, but you got it this time. So congratulations for getting that book. Really excited for you guys. Now, Dr. Wallace, Dr. Artem, thank you for sharing your expertise on the Wisest Learners. To our audience, this book is now available in both paperback and ebook formats on Amazon. And so for a limited time only, seize the opportunity and grab these at the launch price. When the parent editions came out, I grabbed a bunch of them at the the launch price because they're going to go back up to the regular price. So the launch price right now is on sale for $19.99 from its regular price of $29.99. So again, now this is a hefty book, okay? You're getting your money's worth. It is high quality. It's over 500 pages of just knowledge after knowledge after knowledge. So again, paperback is on sale for $19.99. Regular price is $29.99. Now you can get the digital version. It's also on sale for $14.99 from the regular price of $19.99. And then when you go in Amazon, all you got to do is look up Wisest Learner. You'll see this. You'll see the parent edition. If you don't have the parent edition, grab them in a bundle. And we love for you guys to pick these up, read them, tell us how great they are. We've heard a lot of positive things. We're really excited for what's in store for Wisest Learners. Now, for teachers and the readers in the Philippines, we've made it even easier for you to get your paperback copy through the Everlearn Technologies, Inc. And it's really exciting for us to say that. So you can order your copies by contacting the number and the page displayed on the screen right now. And so go ahead and get that information there. So we're really excited for that. You can order your copies. It's for the Philippine audience through the Everlearn Technologies. Authors, do you have anything that you guys want to say?
So yes, just like to thank everyone who came and participated in our book launch. Dr. Artem and I are very excited to bring forth to you the book and all the different aspects of learning that we believe will be very helpful in your daily activities, in your journey as educators. We try to do as much of the heavy lifting so that you don't have to. And hopefully you'd be able to make the most use out of these insights.
I would also please like to thank everyone for joining, and we really much hope that the book will be useful to maybe particularly younger teachers, but also for advanced teachers who are already in education for many years. I think everyone can find something interesting, something useful that can make their educational experiences better. And thank you once again. All the best in your teaching endeavors.
Authors, Dr. Artem, Dr. Wallace, thank you very much for your time. Audience, remember, intentional mentoring is the key to your students' educational success. It's our prayer and our hope is from the Wisest Learners team that we continue to raise children who are not only resilient in their academics, but also in life. If you want to get more resources or on raising resilient, lifelong learners, visit and engage with the Wisest Learner community at thewisestlearners.com. Again, that's wisestlearners.com. This ends our book launch. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. Have a pleasant, blessed day. For those who have questions still unanswered, please stick around. The authors will hang out just a little bit longer. I'll be here. But with that said, you guys have a blessed day, and you guys are fantastic. Thanks for being authors. Thank you again. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Kevin, for helping us out.